Don't be out of the picture. Okay. Right. First of all, you'll tell me if you'll give me a hands up or thumbs up, so that I can be, whether I'm audible enough. Okay, so can I give an overview first, just so that we put everything in context? It will be a fairly long statement. We'll take it slowly, and then we'll make sure that you also get the soft copy of the statement, so that it can help you as a follow-up. And it focuses purely on the issue of the BBI and what we have resolved as ANC. Because earlier on, you will recollect that we had said before Bomas, and when I spoke in Bomas, I said we had done a lot of consultation, and our legal experts are also perusing the document that had been released in the Kisii event, and we had indicated reservations. So equally, yesterday I did a very quick initial reaction, and I said we shall give a more comprehensive commentary on this. So it's in the context of this that we are doing, making this statement, and then we shall now also pronounce our final position on this statement. Good? So, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow Kenyans, today I wish to make a statement which will reflect ANC's position as a party on the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 after consensus. When the final BBI report was released, ANC party critically read, studied, and analyzed each and every proposal in it. As a result, the ANC party cited several proposed amendments which, in our view, required further consultation, consensus, and subsequent amendments. We believed, and we still believe, that consensus is the way to go. We believe that this will enhance better governance and demonstrate genuine concern for the welfare of our citizens. Yesterday, the 25th of November 2020, the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 was released and signature collections launched. On our part, we have again undertaken a detailed study and analysis of the bill. We are satisfied that the bill has been revised, edited, and realigned, and has now incorporated new proposed amendments, some of which we indeed had proposed. Indeed, this bill has demonstrated a significant shift from the earlier proposals, and for this reason, we are encouraged by our insistence and that of many others, such as the Church, that consensus was given a chance. In this bill, our collective efforts have borne some fruit, as outlined briefly below. I will now go through some of the areas that we wish to highlight for the benefit of Kenyans. the new proposed amendments. 1. Article 88. In the earlier proposal, please listen to this significantly. In the earlier proposal, the Iebc commissioners were to be 7, 4 of whom were to be appointed by parliamentary political parties. In this new document, this proposal has been shelved altogether, meaning that appointment of the Iebc shall remain as currently provided under the present Constitution. Our verdict: this enhances Iebc's independence. The second item, Article 89. The earlier proposal, that is in the document that was launched earlier. In the earlier proposal, 70 additional constituencies called multi-member constituencies were to be created, and the criteria was not clear. It thereby gives rise to fears that these additional constituencies might be distributed unfairly to give certain regions undue advantage over the rest through a biased representation. However, the new document released yesterday is very clear now. Under a proposed Schedule 2, the multiple member constituencies have been removed. These were the ones they were more or less calling the virtual constituencies. They have been removed. Instead, the additional 70 constituencies have been mainstreamed as single member constituencies and have been specifically designated in various counties across the country. So that, again, in our view, is a positive development. The third item is Article 97. In the earlier proposal, and I keep on repeating this, ladies and gentlemen, the earlier proposal, so that we can show you that we've been tracking the changes. And that is what I said, that we shall track the changes. In the earlier proposal of Article 97, there was no clear provision for gender affirmative action in the National Assembly, and the proposal did not guarantee the two-thirds rule, thereby compromising women representation from this critical house where participation in decisions affecting resources takes place. Now, in the new document, the one released yesterday, a clear affirmative action for people with disabilities, women, and youths has now been created to provide for the following. A, for people with disabilities in the National Assembly, that is 2 men and 2 women. B, 2 youth, a man and a woman. And then C, special seats to cater for the two-thirds gender rule, so that after a general election, the National Assembly will have 360 MPs. If the affirmative criterion will not have been met, and then political parties will nominate members from among women who contested in the preceding election. Our verdict is that this is progressive, in that the nominated MPs shall have shown interest in participating in elective politics, as opposed to the current system where political party discretion is often abused. Basically, what we are saying, even for the women, it is not them getting it for free. They will also have shown interest in participating in the election, and that is a criteria which had never been determined or put on the table before. So we look at it as a progressive move. It is also progressive because they will be nominated on the basis of the total number of votes which each nominee garnered. A criterion for nomination has for the first time been created. So these ladies will have participated. Then to determine who deserves nomination, you look at the votes that were garnered. This is a new criterion and a progressive one. Then we have the fourth item, Article 98. The earlier proposal, there was no mention or no provision of or for leadership within the Senate, hence no clarity. Basically, in that earlier document, the one that was released earlier, they never talked about the leadership in the Senate. It was silent. Now, in the new document, this has now been clarified and corrected by creating a leader of majority and a leader of minority in the Senate. And this is important for the function, the proper function of the Senate. The fifth item is Article 113, Sub-Article 3. And this one is this. If the Senate was the House from which a bill originated, the Speaker of the Senate, and not of the National Assembly, can now refer the bill to the President for assent, a power that had been denied the Senate. This strengthens the Senate on bills originating from the Senate. Now, this is important because one of the things we raised at Bomas was that the document that had been released seemed to be whittling away the powers and the authority and the functions of the Senate. So that even a bill originating from the Senate, if there was an issue, the Speaker of the National Assembly is the one supposed to take it to the President for assent. Yet the debate took place in the Senate. This is now being rectified. We now move, and I'll come back to the Senate on a few other provisions. We now move to the Article 107A, the leader of the official opposition. In the new document, the leader of official opposition and the Prime Minister cannot now, unlike before, be from the same political party. Basically, the draft that came out when we were at Bomas was not clear. It was providing for very serious incestuous arrangements. But this, on the issue of the leader of opposition, but this has now been clarified. You cannot have the Prime Minister and the leader of opposition coming from the same party. That was vague in the earlier document. Then there's also something that has improved on the issue of the leader of opposition. The lacuna hitherto, or before, as to what will happen in the event the leader of official opposition cannot meet the set conditions, or when there is a vacancy in that office, has now been cured by Article 107A(3), which now gives power to a party or coalition of parties from whom the nominee originated to fill the vacancy. Now, this is very interesting because there are conditions that if you are to be the leader of opposition, you must garner at least 25% of the people sitting in the National Assembly. The question was, suppose nobody has attained that target. Does it mean that Kenya will go without opposition? So this has now been corrected in this document, that in the event of such a thing, there is a way out. We had even talked of, suppose the number 2 person, hypothetically, is an independent candidate, and he does not have the threshold of 25% in the National Assembly. Now, with this adjustment, assuming that there is a very popular independent candidate who becomes the runner-up in a presidential election, then he can now form an affiliation and a coalition with the other members and be able to meet the threshold because he was an independent. That was lacking. Now this has been corrected in this document. The 7th item is Article 151A. The earlier proposal, the President was to choose a Prime Minister, yet the very provision said that the Prime Minister will be that member of the National Assembly who shall have majority MPs or majority coalition. This had given an absolute discretion, therefore introducing inherent uncertainty and confusion in this important process. The new document, certainty has now been established by providing that the President will nominate, not choose, a Prime Minister who is an elected member and a leader of the majority in the National Assembly. Presidential discretion is thus removed from it. The 8th is Article 171 and 172. The earlier proposal, the Office of the Judiciary Ombudsman, he was proposed to be a substantive member of the Judicial Service Commission, participating fully in Judicial Service Commission decisions and actions. The new document now brings it out this way. The Judiciary Ombudsman will now be an ex officio member of the Judicial Service Commission. Additionally, he will be vetted by the Senate, thereby giving the office a seal of approval by the people's representatives. Earlier on, if you go to the old document, it simply said the President shall appoint. But now the President nominates and the Ombudsman is going to be vetted. So there is a distinction. And then if you go further in the document, you will find that the Ombudsman then now makes reports to Parliament, which is a very different thing. So there is also recognition of the separation and the independence of institutions. The 9th item is Article 177, 179 of the new proposal. Realignment and harmonization of governance principles and systems at county government and national government levels. Just like members of the National Assembly will be eligible for appointment as cabinet ministers to take part in running national government, members of the county assembly will similarly become eligible for appointment as county executive committee members to help contribute in the running of their respective county governments. This is fair and progressive. So what is being introduced in the National Assembly is now being mirrored in the county assemblies. The 10th item is Article 218. In the earlier proposal, remember, I'm tracking. In the earlier proposal, the document that was released in Bomas, the entire article on the process of enacting the annual division and allocation of revenue bill had been repealed, and the proposed processes of the bills seemed to give the National Assembly an upper hand on these bills that are logically and naturally a preserve of the Senate. And you remember one of the things that I pointed out even at Bomas was that that document seemed to be undermining the Senate. And if you undermine the Senate, you're undermining devolution. This has now been rectified. In the new document, the proposed processes of managing the bill and its passing have reverted back to what they are in the Constitution 2010. The Senate has been protected, and hence devolution has been protected. The 11th item is Article 223, Sub-Article 1. The Senate has been strengthened by being given power to vet and approve the presidential nominee as controller of budget. A power that previously was reserved for the National Assembly. Overall, the Senate has been strengthened by having a key role to play in the enactment of bills on finances to the counties, positions the Senate adequately, and these positions the Senate adequately to oversight devolved governance and protect public resources. The 12th item is Article 246. And I go back to the earlier proposal. On the Bomas Day, in this Article 246, it had established the Kenya Police Council, whose composition would be without any representatives from the public or civilians. Moreover, the council was proposed to be headed by a presidential appointee, namely the Minister for Interior and his or her principal secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, this proposal has been shelved altogether. This is responsive. And you remember, even the Catholics specifically identified this clause. In the new document, it has been shelved. That means there are changes, amendments have been made. The 13th item is new. The new proposal is that CDF, it is proposed that CDF, the Constituency Development Fund, is now proposed to be established in the Constitution. For many years now, the CDF has greatly impacted lives of many Kenyans in all areas of the country. But it had been declared unconstitutional by the High Court, hence the need for its creation in the Constitution. CDF had been declared unconstitutional, so now this document, this new document, is making amends if Kenyans vote for it, so that CDF can now become constitutional because it has had a major impact in many parts of the country. No doubt there have been pilferage in some areas and misuse in some areas, but it is now becoming a constitutional recommendation. This is progressive, as it will give it a proper legal standing to carry on its work. The 14th aspect that I wish to deal with reflects on the 4th schedule. The proposed transfer of functions from the Nairobi County to the national government in the report that was brought out in Bomas. The proposed transfer of functions from the Nairobi County to the national government in the report has been deleted in the bill. This is a major boost in strengthening devolution as the status of Nairobi as a county government has been restored. Ladies and gentlemen, this is critical. Yes, there was mismanagement in Nairobi County, and indeed there's mismanagement in other counties. But the biggest gain that Kenyans made in the 2010 Constitution was perhaps the principle of devolution, so that resources can be reallocated in a different way. So the moment you start clawing back, if you had transferred Nairobi functions away from the devolved framework, you then alter devolution. And the question would be, after you start with Nairobi, which other major city would have been next? So if we want to protect devolution, then we need to live with it. And if there are mismanagement problems, let us, through our choices, let us, through our elective choices, put the right people in place. Don't try and alter the law because you made a poor choice. 2022 is an election year. I hope Kenyans in the various parts of the country will realize where they made mistakes, where their choices were out of emotion, where they thought their choices don't matter. Let it now go on record. Their choices matter. For these reasons, in my concluding remarks, ANC party now supports the BBI process and urges all Kenyans to come together and participate in this process with a view to having a smooth and basically a non-contested referendum. Consensus is the spirit of Kenya, and it should be the spirit of Kenya. When we raised issues, people wanted to vilify us. When we said there were concerns, people wanted to vilify us because they wanted a quick shortcut of having a divisive process. But diplomatically, consistently and logically, many voices raised concerns. And with the new document, it shows that those concerns did not land on deaf ears. The new document shows that they have been responded to. At least a substantial or significant amount of those issues have been responded to. When we spoke in Bomas, I, speaking on behalf of ANC, I said that there are some good things in this document, but there are also some issues that require review, and we don't have to reject the whole document, but we can improve on it. Ladies and gentlemen, the verdict of ANC is that this document has been significantly improved on. So, at that time we said once that is done, we will have no difficulty in recommending it to Kenyans. The final verdict remains theirs. But with the issues that I've tracked and I have highlighted, this is a significantly different document than the one that was there earlier. On a lighter note, I am a Quaker by faith. When we swear, we never swear by the Bible. We affirm. Because if you say something, then do it. Our position was that if these issues are corrected and looked into, then we shall have no problem in supporting the BBI process. That is what we said. And therefore, we are saying to Kenyans, read the document. After all, the actual voting is not this year. The actual voting will come next year. So read the document. Track the differences. If you are still aggrieved, you still have the option to vote against it. And I also want to remind Kenyans that the position you take at a referendum is not necessarily the same position you take in a general election. We have seen it before. In 2005, we saw people take a position in the referendum, but when it came to the election of 2007 and 2008, they took a different position. And even political alignments took a different direction. We also saw this in the build-up to the 2010 Constitution. The formations that were there for the referendum did not last when it came to the election of 2013. The formations changed after the referendum. So I'm also telling you that the formations that might be there during this referendum, please don't imagine they're cast in stone. Because by the time Kenyans get to 2022, the formations around the general elections may be very different from the formations that may take place in the event of a contested referendum. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our message to the Kenyan people today. We are all Kenyans. We must be peaceful. We must live by the rule of the law. And we must stop insulting each other. And we must stop pigeonholing others. Let people express themselves. God bless you all, and God bless Kenya. Thank you. Finally, let me just state that as we go forward, ANC as a party, after consultations with the team here and others, ANC will form its own platform of popularizing the document. We have to address Kenyans, and we want to address them without any opportunity for people to generate insults and unnecessary competition in this process. We want it to be a process that is decent, that is interactive, that gives Kenyans an opportunity to express their concerns, for this document to be unbundled to them. And the details of this team and platform will be unveiled to you in the next few days. Thank you. This is a very long one. Wacha nitajaribu kusema tu kwa kifupi. Kwa sababu orodha wetu kirasmi ambao nimesoma wa chama cha ANC utapeanwa kwa nyinyi ambao mtatusaidia kujulisha watu yale yanayotendeka katika taifa letu. Kile ambacho ningependa tukuhimiza ni kwamba baada ya uzinduzi wa jana wa ile Constitutional Amendment Bill ya 2020, chama cha ANC kilitoa ahadi kwamba tutachambua hiyo bill na wataalamu wetu na viongozi wetu, alafu tutatoa hotuba ama orodha wetu kirasmi. Kwa hivyo leo kwa niaba ya ANC nimewahi kueleza wa Kenya msimamo wa ANC kuhusu swala la BBI ama muswada wa BBI, na nimehimiza kwamba ile document ambayo ilitolewa wakati tulikuwa Bomas, ilitolewa kule Kisii, alafu tukawa na kongamano kule Bomas, mimi na wengine ambao walikuwa pale na wale ambao walikuwa pale, tulisema kwamba lengo la BBI sio mbaya, na katika hiyo report ama kwa hizo miswada kuna mambo mazuri, lakini kuna yale pia yana utata, na tulikuwa tukihimiza kwa njia ya kushauriana, yani consensus, mambo ya kushauriana. Mimi nilikuwa nikihimiza kwamba kuna vipengele ambavyo vinatakikana virekebishwe. Kwa orodha wetu ama kwa statement hii yetu, nimewahi kuonyesha kipengele baada ya kipengele ambacho kinaonyesha kwamba kuna tofauti kubwa na ile report ama ile sheria ilizinduliwa kule Bomas na hii sheria ambayo ilizinduliwa jana katika KICC. Na uamuzi wangu na pia wa wenzangu na pia kufuatilia vile wataalamu wetu wamechambua hiyo sheria, uamuzi wao ni kwamba ile report ama sheria ambayo imetolewa jana imebadilishwa kwa njia ambayo ni ya manufaa kwa Wakenya. Kwa hivyo ule msimamo tulikuwa tumesema kwamba wakibadili vipengele fulani, sisi kama ANC hatutakuwa na shida ya kuungana na Wakenya wengine tukienda mbele. Kwa hivyo leo katika orodha wetu tumetoa kila kitu na tumetoa msimamo wetu, na sasa uamuzi utabaki mikononi mwa Wakenya. Mimi ningependa tu kuwahimiza wasome, wazidi kusoma, wazidi kujadiliana kwa njia ya amani, kwa sababu sisi ni Amani National Congress. Hatutaki fujo, hatutaki vurugu. Kila kona ya Kenya ijadilie ripoti hii na waangalie. Wacha kuangalia sura ya Mudavadi bwana. Wacha kuangalia sura ya mtu fulani kwa sababu yeye ndio amekuja pale. Sasa ni wewe kuangalia ile report. Kuna nini kule? Kwa sababu unajua katika Kenya yetu kuna wengine hata kama anakuja na ujumbe mzuri, lakini ukisema nani ametumwa, ati Mudavadi ndio ametumwa na huo ujumbe, hata hautaki kujua kama ni ujumbe mzuri ama nini, unasema tu basi sitaki kuona na sitaki kusikia. Sasa ni wakati wa Wakenya kukumbuka kwamba wakati huu, don't chase away the messenger. Read the message first. Uelewe. And then Kenya will be a better place. And I'm sure Kenya can be a better place. Tukisimama hapa, tunajua kwamba shida la COVID bado liko. Na ndio kwa sababu tumekuwa tukisema tuwe na ushauriano, tuwe na consensus, ili tupunguze uzito wa siasa, ndio pesa zisiende nyingi kwa upande wa siasa, pesa zirudi kupigana na mambo ya COVID. Tuna madeni makubwa, uchumi wetu una shida, na sisi wote tunajua. Hata yale madeni tulikuwa tukisema, sasa kila siku nyinyi mnaona. Hata waziri wa fedha sasa anaambiwa room for maneuver imekwisha. Vikwazo ambavyo sisi kama ANC tulikuwa tukisema. Na hivi karibuni ndugu yangu yuko hapa, Mheshimiwa Sakwa Bunyasi, nataka niwaambie tayari amechapisha bill which is now gazetted also, ya kuonyesha barabara ambayo tunaweza tumia kupunguza shida ya madeni katika taifa letu. Na hivi karibuni Mheshimiwa Bunyasi mwenyewe atawazungumzia zaidi kuhusu hiyo bill yake. Na ikiwa tunataka turekebishe uchumi wa Kenya, miongoni ya mambo mengine, itabidi kama Wakenya tuunge mkono mswada wa Sakwa Bunyasi. Kwa hivyo ANC si kuropoka tu. ANC ni pia kutoa mwelekeo. We are not just about speaking. We are also about making a difference by showing the right way forward. Nadhani nitakomea hapo na nitapeana nafasi kidogo kwa wajumbe wetu wawili. Mmoja ni Senator Malala, alafu Mheshimiwa Sakwa Bunyasi. Kwa kifupi tu, wanaweza tumia Kiswahili ama Kimombo. Lakini kusema ukweli, sasa ningependa kusema msiniulize maswali. Kwa sababu orodha ambao nimetoa ni very detailed and very comprehensive. Asante sana. What is the clarification?
Nominating that person to be the Prime Minister, since in this case will be the President and the party you are party in the National Assembly as the majority members of Parliament, and you are the leader at the top as the President.
I mean, if you follow the Constitution, it's very clear. The President shall nominate. So, the President will have to distinguish himself as from being the leader of the party to being the President. And he can nominate somebody else from ANC.
There are three sections there.
Yeah.
The first one, if it's rejected, the President shall nominate on the second one. And if the second one is rejected, the President shall nominate a third one. So you answer yourself.
So, I think, what are the clarifications? But by the way, remember now, this document is gone. You cannot alter it. The way it has gone with the signatures, now the only thing that can really alter it is actually the vote. Or unless it's blocked within the county assemblies. Sasa hilo ni swala ambalo linaweza jibiwa na Iebc. Lakini vile ninavyoona wanaweza. Ikiwa hatutakuwa na vizuizi vingine kuhusu hii process, wanaweza tumia, kwa sababu Iebc wako na professionalism ya kuhakikisha hiyo inaweza fanyikana.
Hiyo naweza kujibu. They have already demarcated every county. Like Kakamega is going to have 2 seats. They are considering the population, the size of the constituency. And Iebc will not even go on the ground. They will just use the census data to determine the constituencies. And they've already determined, and it's there in the schedule in the new constitution, proposing constitution.
So, sasa? Good. Sasa nipeane nafasi. Oh, one more. I think Iebc will be best placed to respond to that particular question, because this document is now gone. Its signatures are being attached to it. And as I said, it can now only be stopped either in the county assembly, if the threshold is not met, or it can be stopped by the voters. Okay, let me allow the Senator Malala to make a comment, and also Honorable Sakwa Bunyasi. Thank you.
Thank you, Party Leader. My name is Senator Cleophas Malala, Senator for Kakamega County. From the onset, it must be known that I was among the people who had reservations about the proposed amendment bill as launched at Bomas of Kenya. We sat as a party, went through in detail, advised by our legal team, and we raised certain issues. And we have been pushing for a mode in which we can engage with the BBI technical team so that they can consider our proposals. Today, I want to report authoritatively that again, we've sat as a party, gone through the document with the keenness it deserves, and we have finally agreed as a party that the issues that we had raised, they have been considered in the published bill, and as a party, we are now supporting the BBI process and the BBI document as published. I want to take this opportunity also to urge the ANC supporters across the country to follow suit and support this very noble document. The dark cloud that has been hanging precariously above us has now been cleared. And therefore, it is our responsibility as members of ANC and elected leaders of ANC to now traverse this country and popularize this document. As the party leader has insinuated, we are going to have a semi-autonomous secretariat which is going to ensure that we as ANC push for the popularization of these documents. There has been a wide speculation of propaganda about what is in these documents. We have had people trying to insinuate that we have the term limit of governors, which has been removed from the existing constitution. I want to state here that we are going to deal with such propaganda because that propaganda has been percolating deep into the villages, and it has been the reason why we've had some form of resistance towards this BBI initiative. But I want to take this opportunity to authoritatively say that as Senator, we have been considered. The Senate is now basically, according to the interpretations and according to the provisions of the published bill, the Senate has now attained the stature we have been wanting. More specifically on Article 96, which now gives the Senate powers to oversight monies, not only the revenue that is being given from the national allocation, but also the on-source revenue and also the donor funds that will go to the county government. So as Senate, we want to say that we are now supporting this document, and we shall give ourselves to ensure that we support our party leader to ensure that this document goes through. We are alive of the fact that the signature drive was launched yesterday, and as a party, we shall also take part in encouraging our people to append their signatures so that we get the 4 million signatures. And of the 4 million signatures, we want to say that ANC will deliver half of those signatures. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Thank you, party leader. And the fourth estate yangu itakuwa tu mafupi ambayo nitaongeza kwamba tumekuwa na mchakato ambao kwa wakati wa miaka miwili waliokuwa kwenye lile jopo ambalo lilikuwa naongoza huu mjadala walitembea nadhani karibu Kenya nzima, wakasikiza maoni ya wananchi, lakini walipotoa mwisho wakatoa ripoti zao, na mwisho wakatoa ile bill, amendment bill, ikawa kwamba kuna sehemu ambazo lazima zipate kuchambuliwa kidogo, siwe clear. Na msimamo wetu ambao ulikuwa kwamba watu waisome, watu wafikirie kiundani, leo imeidhinisha kwamba ni kweli sisi kama wanaamani ANC tulipenda tuisome na tumesoma, na mimi ningeomba kwamba wananchi nao sasa wana wakati wa kutosha kuisoma kati ya leo na ule muda ambao tutakuwa na referendum yenyewe. Kwa hivyo kwa wale ambao kuna watu ambao wanaweza kuwa wana maneno ama pengine ambao wangependa kubadilisha kwa njia tofauti, lakini lazima tuwe na kikomo ya kusema kwa hivi sasa wacha tusonge kiasi kama tulivyosonga. Kwa mfano hii mambo ya viti, kuna sehemu ambazo labda zingependa pia kuwa ndani ya kuwa mojawazo ambazo zimepata viti zaidi. That has not happened this time, labda wakati mwingine. Kwa hivyo sisi kama wana NC tuseme kwamba tumetosheka kwa yale ambao imependekezwa, tumejaribu kuirekebisha. Party leader alivyoongea Bomas na juzi pia at KICC, we have come out truly kuonyesha kwamba tuna sisi tungependa kufanya kazi na Wakenya wengine kwa jumla, tuwe na huo mchakato ambao ni wa amani na ambao utatuletea mabadiliko ambao wananchi wenyewe watakubali. Na mimi naomba county assemblies kwamba wana nafasi ya kipekee ya kuichambua kiundani, kuchambua hii amendment bill kiundani, waijadili, na hao nchi tawategemea wakipitisha assemblies 24 watakuwa wamepeleka huu mchakato hatua fulani. Wasipoipitisha wanaweza kukomea hapo. Kwa hivyo naomba kwamba ikiwafikia waiangalie kiundani na wasaidie upande wa civic education, na sisi sote tutakuwa kwenye hali ya kutoa civic education. That is what we need. Ndio wananchi wenyewe sasa waamue kwa wakati wa kura. Asanteni sana na tuendelee kufanya kazi pamoja. Asante. Nimeambiwa niseme machache. Tumechapisha mswada wa hali ya kusimamia madeni, kuunda halmashauri ambayo itasimamia madeni ya Kenya, madeni ya kitaifa. Wajua tuliko si pazuri. Ukisikia kwamba IMF imetutembelea, IMF ni kama madaktari. Si madaktari wa kutuletea tablets, hao na madaktari wa kukata na kuunganisha. They are surgeons. Wanakuja tu ukiwa kwenye ICU. Kwa hivyo inaonyesha kwamba hali yetu ya kifedha si nzuri sasa. Na ni lazima tuangalie ni kitu gani tungependa kufanya, ni mikopo gani tunachukua, na ilinganishwe karibu sana na gharama yenyewe ya miradi. Tusiwe na mradi ambao kama na shilingi 100 nalipa shilingi 200, hiyo excess huo mkopo ambao mwananchi atalipa. Na huu mswada unasema kwamba tuwe na watu ambao wana uzoefu kufanya analysis, so that wale ambao wanaenda kukopa wakope mikopo ambayo ni ya gharama ya chini. Na pili, wakope mikopo ambayo inalenga sana zile sehemu sekta zetu ambazo tuletea manufaa baadaye. If it is being for roads, cost must be right and must be done quickly. Kuna vipengele tofauti ambavyo viko. Kwa hivyo treasury haitakuwa ile ambayo inatengeneza budget na wanasema tukope ambayo itatosha hii budget. Kama labda hiyo budget ni kitu ambacho kuna sehemu ambazo zingalingoja kidogo, ama ungalienda mahali tofauti pasipo kule ambao wanapitia. Wajua yule ambaye anakuambia ukitaka mkopo anasema njoo uchukue, sio lazima awe sio rafiki. Nataka yule ambaye anasema wacha nione yale mnayofanya, kwa sababu mkichukua lazima mtalipa. Hayo ndio baadhi ya mambo ambayo tumeweka kwenye huu mswada na umechapishwa. Tunangojea uingie kwenye mjadala wa bunge. Hiyo tunafuatilia na baadaye ikipitishwa idhinishwe kama sheria. Asante sana.
Nakumbushwa tu na party leader kwamba kidogo tulisahau kugusia masuala ya Ward Development Fund. Tungependa kuhimiza MCAs kwamba masuala haya yanakuja katika County Assembly na you are the biggest beneficiaries, kwa sababu sasa hivi we are assured that pesa inaenda kuingia paka kwenye vijiji za Kenya. So sisi kama chama cha ANC, mnajua sisi ndio wale wa kereketu wa ugatuzi, na sisi tumekuwa tukisukuma masuala ya ugatuzi, na hii ni win kwetu kama chama cha ANC, na tunahimiza MCAs wetu wachukue hiyo pendekezo vizuri na wahakikishe kwamba wamepitisha mswada huu. Asanteni.
Asante.
Okay, mimi ndio nakufunga. Mimi ni kumshukuru party leader wetu Musalia Mudavadi. Vile Mheshimiwa Malala amesema, tulikuwa pale Karen Oasis, tukapitia through haya masuala yote na tukakubaliana kama chama, Musalia uende kule Bomas uongee kusupport, lakini vipengee fulani lazima vitolewe. Tunashukuru Mheshimiwa Rais aliita Mheshimiwa Musalia wakaa kule Ikulu wakapresent hizo ideas zote, na hivi leo hizo ideas ziko ndani ya BBI. Ile idea moja tu nimekumbusha Mheshimiwa Musalia, ile ya kutengeneza National Police Council
Tumetaja
vile tumetaja hapa, hiyo ilikuwa inaenda kulete taharuki inji. Ungetengeneza polisi, ile polisi inakuwa ya minister na chair council, anatengeneza polisi inakuwa kama Can Youth Wingers ama NC Youth Wingers. Hiyo imetusaidia sana. Na pongezi Mheshimiwa Musalia for taking the lead. Sasa hivi sisi ni masoldiers wako, tutaenda ground na tuhakikishe is a non-contested referendum. Ule mwenye aenda kupinga sijui ni shetani tu. Hii kitu is too sweet.
Asante. Asante. There are some papers.